Hey guys, it's Ross going on the Space Couch. Today I'm going to be reviewing this, The Long Utopia by Terry Pratchett and Stephen Baxter. Now this is the fourth in the Long series, after Long Earth, Long War, Long Mars, and now The Long Utopia. So the premise of this book is the entire Long Earth is in danger. A couple of times people have somehow managed to step north instead of east or west, you know, only on one of the Earths in the long chain, but it's onto a planet that is not part of the long Earth chain, some other world entirely, and that's inhabited by silver beetles who are just consuming everything and replicating themselves. Now, the one world where people have been stepping north is the world that Sally Lindsay deposited Lobsang and Agnes onto, you know, probably because she realised subconsciously there's something wrong with this planet. These are the best guys to find out what it is. Eventually, they realise that that world's rotation is spinning up. It's like from 24 hours, it goes down to 20, and 16, and 12-hour rotation. And it's killing the planet. The plant and animal life can't handle that increased diurnal cycle. And eventually, if that spin keeps increasing, the planet will break up from the force. So they take a airship ride over this planet to try and see what is happening, what's causing it. And they come across these giant structures, kind of like viaducts, you know, at certain latitudes, like say the tropics and at the equator. And the beetles, which have broken through onto this Earth, somehow they're hurling rocks from the moon to the Earth, and the energy of that is being directed along these viaduct structures, and that's what's spinning up the planet. These machines are self-replicating, so obviously they've broken through into the long Earth chain. If they can't be stopped, all the long Earths will eventually be consumed. So the Next and the original humans, they've got to try and team up to cut this planet out of the Long Island chain. You know, like when necklaces get tangled up, that's kind of what's happened here, where it's mixed in with this other world chain. However, to cut off a world from this long chain, it can only be done from the inside, and there's no getting out once you've done it. So anyone who volunteers to do it will be stranded there to die. So there's lots of flashbacks and backstory about the original Stepper families in this novel, you know, like the Lindsays and the Valientes. And it goes back several hundred years, so there's scenes like, say, in Victorian times where they're meeting Prince Albert, another scene where they're not in the favour after his passing, and they're stuck in Windsor Castle in the basement, and you know, you can't step when you're on the ground. So one of the guys thinks, I'm going to get rid of you all, you're more trouble than you're worth, not realising, of course, that it is possible to step to another world, measure the distance to where you're being held, or if you have been there previously, which they have, and then dig a big pit so you can step into it. And that's what's happened. I did enjoy that. Always good to see a bit of righteous vengeance going on. And yeah, it's good seeing the connection between those original families and the origins of the Next and how they all ended up at, say, happy landings. Very enjoyable book, as all of the Long Earth books are. Terry Pratchett's influence always shows, but this is mostly Stephen Baxter. The very first of the Long books, Long Earth, it could have just been written entirely by Terry Pratchett. I mean, the things like, say, the stepper box itself, you know, they're using a potato, it was very Terry Pratchett. Now it's just more like the odd sentence and phrasing, diminishing input for obvious reasons. Probably, unfortunately, the last of the Long Earth novels, which would be a shame, or obviously understandable given that Sir Terry's no longer with us. I mean, as a concept, the Long Earth is far from exhausted. I do hope to continue this franchise, but don't hold your breath. So many more things it could explore. I mean, The Long Mars was a great book, and that was all about the hunt for the space elevator tech. In this fourth book, the space elevator is being built in, like, say, Miami West 4 or whatever, but it's not a main part of the story, it's just it's like happening. So it'd be good to see other stories set in this universe, but will we? I suspect not. That was just my review of The Long Utopia by Terry Pratchett and Stephen Baxter, which I hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or a suggestion for an upcoming book you'd like to see reviewed, or hit that like button.